Good morning, good morning. Look at these palm trees greeting us. I love this street. This is Bayshore in the Ventura Keys. You can kind of see a sneak peek of the mountains there behind those duplexes. Spin you back the other way. It is a gorgeous palm tree lined street. So this street kind of is the line between Pierpont and the Ventura Keys neighborhoods. On one side you have duplexes and the other side you have single family homes. On this side of Peninsula, the homes are not on the water, they're in the neighborhood. But on the other side of Peninsula, way over there, those homes that are on what was your left, looking back there, are on the water. They have boat docks. So this is part of the neighborhood. My husband and I call this area the Silver Triangle of the Keys. It's got two kind of U-shaped streets that meet, and then, I don't know, so it kind of makes a little triangle. I love that people are decorating for Halloween. This area gets a lot of kids at Halloween. So over here is the entrance to the Vaughn's kind of shopping mall area. So you've got Vaughn's, Starbucks, Meridian's. There's going to be a new restaurant going in there. There's Black Bear Diner. There's a bank. There is dry cleaning and fluff and fold service. There's a donut shop and a nail salon now. We're blessed to have the Pierpont Nail Salon. So I'm kind of walking around the U shape of this area, and there's two streets that kind of cut in and make some more room for homes and neighborhoods. I love this house, and all the decorating makes me feel like I'm at Tommy Bahama's. So good morning. All of the incendiary headlines have us believing that there is a housing crash, and it's happening now, and home prices are going to fall to the lowest levels they've ever seen, and it's the apocalypse and we're all going to die. But I have some positive and encouraging news for you this morning, and that is there's opportunity. So there have been many people that have said when other people are super optimistic, they're buying up a bunch of stuff, you should be fearful. And when other people are fearful, you should be buying up stuff. I'm going to have to find that direct quote and stick that in the description, but it really is true. A lot of people are sitting on the sidelines saying, I'm not sure what's going to happen, so I'm going to wait and see. I'm going to wait and see. I'm going to wait and see. And that means there's opportunity. There are still people that have to relocate for a job. There are still, unfortunately, people that are passing away and their heirs have to sell the house. There are people that have lost a job and need to sell their house. There are people that are going to start a new job and they need to buy a house. There are people that are having babies every day that need to buy a house to have security for their future. And so that's where we're at right now. People have to buy and sell. And if everybody's waiting on the sidelines, that means there's opportunity for you. If you want to buy or sell, there's opportunity. So I don't want you to get fearful. I don't want you to freak out at all the headlines, but just enjoy the fact that there's opportunity in this market. All right, so what do I mean by opportunity? When you purchase a house here in California, your property taxes are based on the purchase price. So if you're buying a house for less money than you would have 6 months ago, the property taxes on that are going to be lower. The savings of your property taxes aren't necessarily going to make up for the change in what your mortgage would have been versus now. But depending on your purchase price, it can have a greater effect over the long term. Many people don't think about property taxes. They are conditioned to think only about interest rates. Oh, it's free money. I need a good interest rate. I need a good interest rate. But what have we found out from the beginning of 2020 when the rates went down and everybody started refinancing? Interest rates are temporary. Property taxes are forever. So if you bought a house at the height of the market, you paid $2 million. Now you have those taxes on $2 million. If today you could get that house for 1.6, 1.7 because the seller is in desperate need of selling, now you've locked in a lower property tax for yourself and you can refinance that rate later. We are definitely seeing negotiation back on the table. So if somebody lists a house and you think it's overpriced and you offer lower, if the seller needs to sell, they are considering seller credits. They're doing requests for repairs. People are willing to negotiate, and that's kind of where we want the market to be. We want sellers to be reasonable. We want buyers to be reasonable. And now they are. Or at least they're getting there. We do have some seller remorse. They wanted to put their house on the market in the spring, but they couldn't yet, or wasn't finished, or they needed some time before they needed to move. And they're bummed because all their friends, all their neighbors sold their house for a premium back in April, and now they're looking at their house wondering why it's not selling. Well, it's not selling because you want to sell for that same price. And I wouldn't say prices are dropping, but prices aren't increasing the way that they were. There are still multiple offer scenarios happening out there right now for well-priced properties in certain price brackets. There's always going to be a demand for entry-level housing, whether that's for people who are getting into the market or if that's investors that are wanting to buy up so that they can make them into rentals. It's just the way it is. There's always going to be demand for that. The other thing too is people are getting creative, and I think that's one of the best things about this market is the creativity that we're already seeing. It's been only a couple months since interest rates started rising, and already the lenders are coming up with new ideas, new programs. I've heard of one lender waiving the lender fee for when you go to refinance because they already know. They expect that you're going to refinance. Nobody's going to want to hang on to a 7% interest rate for 30 years. If the rates come down, you're going to refinance. So some of these lenders are already, putting that in. If you refinance within 1 year, we're going to waive the fee. I've heard of other sellers doing a buy down. So they really want their house to sell for $700,000, but it's not selling. And the borrower can't borrow $700,000 or, whatever it is after their down payment. The buyer can't pay that. So what the sellers have been doing is saying, okay, you pay me $700,000. I'm going to buy down your interest rate so that you have more buying power, so that we can get that $700 price point. And a buy down could be just a couple $1,000s to up to like $20,000. But if you're looking at a price reduction of 50 grand, maybe spending 17 grand on a buy down for a buyer is going to be better than taking $50,000 off your purchase price. Of course, for the buyer, if you're really desperate to get into that house, sure, that might work. But for the buyer, it might be better to wait until that purchase price comes down because of interest rates. That's right, interest rates are forever and mortgage rates are temporary. So you have to really consider what's going to be best for your lifestyle, for your type of investment that you're going to do, and think about it long term. I mean, most people aren't in a house for longer than 10 years. Gone are the days of people buying a house and living in it for 30 years. It just doesn't happen very much anymore. But if you're going to hold on to that house when you go and purchase another one in 10 years, that's going to be a different conversation than if you are going to sell, buy something else, or if you're going to try to hold on to it long term and move to another state, another part of the country. So I encourage all of you to not be worried. I encourage you to not buy into the fear mongering that's going on, and enjoy the creativity of this market. Ask your neighbors, ask your friends what they're hearing, because I can guarantee that it's not all bad in this market. And so oftentimes we want to buy into the panic that we forget there is opportunity here. So when other people are fearful, look and see what kind of opportunity there is for you. So I'm going to spin you around again. This is on Seahorse. I've come around this way already once because this little silver triangle isn't very big. Oops, going up. I love these palm trees. It's one of my favorite things about living in this neighborhood is all the palm trees. Really makes me feel like I'm living in California instead of Wisconsin, which is where I'm from. No disrespect to all those evergreens and deciduous trees, but palm trees are where it's at for me. So I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope that you are excited about the opportunity. And in the words of, I don't know the exact words, but one of the YouTubers that I really love to follow, he said, in the coming months, in the next 12 to 18 months, make as much money as you can because there's opportunity here. Make as much money now because with inflation, it will be worth more later. If you can figure out the growth strategy now, it will help you in the long term. So stay positive, look for that opportunity, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.